Hello everyone. I welcome you all for the lecture series videos of Basics of Civil and Mechanical Engineering. I'm Dr. J.Yokesh Kumar. I'm here to explain about uh, the basic manufacturing processes, the fourth unit of Basic Civil and Mechanical Engineering. In that, today we have a topic uh, welding defect. Among that, in the previous video, we discussed a few of the welding defects, and in this video, as a continuation of that, we are going to discuss about one more defect, and that is called overlap. So here I have illustrated a photograph of the defect. Here you can able to see or witness the improper joining region of this. So what do you understand from this? So there is a weld bead that is not properly fused together with the parent metal. So these two are parent metals and this is called the weld bead. So when you perform welding operation, this weld bead is supposed to be joined with the parent metal. So if it is not fused properly with the parent metal, it becomes a overlap between the region. And this uh, figure also, this photograph also indicates that few portions are joined and few portions are not joined. So here the compression will take place and here the compression is not taking place. So from the photograph we have seen that there is a chance of degradation of mechanical property due to the uh, defect. So this defect is called a overlap. So overlap is the topic today we are going to discuss. So let us have a detailed discussion on the overlap. So coming to this picture, so what do you see in this picture? So there is a overlap in the weld causes weak and mechanical bond. So here there is a pathway, and as a continuation of this pathway, there is a deep valley on it, and again it continues. So this is what about the overlap causes in the uh, weld bead. So let us have a discussion on this. Coming to this overlap, so it is the surface defect. Normally it is occurs in the surface like this, which where the excess metal flows beyond the weld toe and sits on the base without proper fusion. So here you can able to see there is a excessive formation of metal and which will uh, coming under the base and it is not properly fused together. So let us take an example of um, cone ice cream. So in the cone ice cream, you can able to see that when you fill with the ice cream in the cone, uh, so there may be a chance of overflowing the scoop of ice cream in the cone. So visually, the overflow is also like that. So when the weld bead is spilling is over, uh, then it tends to overflow with the base metal. So what is overlap? So overlap in welding defects, it refers the condition of the metal where extend beyond the fusion line. So here you can able to see it is the surface defect which occurs in the surface. Uh, See, this is the example of volcano. Under bottom we have a pressurized volcano. Whenever there is a uh, chance to open, it tends to exit and which will be overflowing uh, around the surrounding. So like that weld overlap is also overflowing like that. So at the bottom we have a lack of fusion and improper mechanical bonding. So this kind of defect is very common in arc welding process. Here you can able to see this is overfilling can occurs and which is uh, bonding together with the parent metal, which degrades the mechanical property of the metal. So what are all the causes for overlap? So here I have listed the causes for the overlap. One is weld torch angle. So when you are not following when you are not following a proper weld torch angle, which leads to overlap, and welding speed. So when you are slowly weld with the metal during arc welding process, there may be a chance of overfilling of metal, which leads to overflow. Then filler material type, when the filler material type is not properly bound with the parent metal, that is inherent metal you are using, then which leads to overlap. Then base metal temperature. So this is also a probable reason. Sometimes we need to preheat the base metal if the uh, base metal length is long. If it is not properly preheated, which leads to overlapping. Then how to prevent this? So we have to properly maintain the heat input, and for maintaining the angle you have to fix the weld position. Then welders must be trained properly with the uh, weld parameters, and consistent training will be given. And thorough joint preparation. If the joint is not properly uh, prepared, there may be a chance of grease or other dirts, which leads to formation of overlap. And let us summarize. Under welding defect, we have a defect is called overlap. The causes for the overlap is improper cleaning of weld bead and improper parameters, slow speed. These are all the reasons. Then how to prevent this? Proper temperature control in the parent metal, proper cleaning must be incorporated. Then coming to the quiz. Uh, so what does the term overlap in welding refer to? So there are four options are there. Weld metals spilling beyond the joint without fusion, weld metal bead penetrating too deeply, cracks forming due to cooling stress, inclusion of foreign particles in the weld. What is the answer? So the answer is weld metal spilling beyond the joint without fusion. That is the definition what we discussed in the presentation. And the next quiz, what is the best method for detect the internal defects like slag inclusion or lack of fusion? So this is, we are not discussed, from your experience you can tell. One is visual inspection, magnetic particle inspection, ultrasonic, and hammer test. The answer is ultrasonic because it is the surface defect, and sometimes it might be an internal defect also. And these are all the references for my presentation. And thank you for your attention.